there. You are live. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are you today?
I'm good. I've had busy days. Now the shops are back open, as people will know. Been out and about and making videos about it because it's like, oh, I found this. There's nothing quite like it. There's nothing like that buzz.
Finding those treasures, isn't it? Absolutely.
Yeah. It's a real buzz, and I've missed it. So I'm quite happy. I've got a few nice things, and I've got the weekend's boot fair to look forward to as well. So.
Oh, excellent. Is that quite local to you?
Very. It's literally up the road from me, and it's on Sunday. So assuming I can hoik my sorry ass out of bed on Sunday morning, I will be going along.
Actually, there's one relatively local to me in Dorking. They're starting back up.
It's got no sound, sweetheart. I don't know if that's us or them.
No, I wonder if
no sound.
Ooh. That's odd.
Yes. I mean, I can hear you, but clearly.
I hear you.
We'll look into it.
Yeah, I don't know what button I need to look at.
No.
Anyone else not got any sound? Hello, anybody else?
And let us know if the sound comes back. We'll check.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris.
Yeah.
Okay, Tina. Yes.
Yeah.
Might be something your end. We'll check.
Yeah, might well be.
Excellent. That's good. Because it's just not quite as entertaining if there's no sound. Or maybe I don't know. But
bit of lip sync going on. Oh dear. Right, well, we've got some people in, Heather. We better do some hellos, haven't we? So, hello, Chris, little chick. Hello, Red Wing. I don't know your name, but hello, good evening. Big Girls Really Do Cry is
Lainey.
Hello, you're doing very, very well. And we've got Tina in as well. There you are. Hello, Tina. She can hear us both. Aha.
Good.
So, good evening, everybody. I hope you're very well. Oh dear, yes, it's been a hectic week for both of us, actually, hasn't it?
Well, yes, there's lots going on.
Well, it really is. Yes.
Lots of fun and games, and not so much on the witchy fun, just the very practical stuff. I think it's been a very work week.
Yeah, it has. Actually, I've had quite a witchy week too. I've had a witchy witchy week. It's been one of them.
Yes. Well, yes, because there have been things that we've done work on. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, and I've had to do some big healing stuff for the lady that I look after, who sadly had a heart attack. She's okay, but she had sadly had a heart attack on Thursday at 9 o'clock while I was there, which was a surprise, to say the least. And yeah. But one of the benefits of Alzheimer's is that by the time the ambulance crew had arrived, which was nearly an hour later, we'd forgotten why they turned up. And as far as she was concerned, she'd had two lovely young men come to visit.
and try and access her chest area, clearly.
And she thoroughly enjoyed herself, actually, while they were there. Oh yes, she did. She played to the crowd, I have to say. But bless her, she thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed their visit. Good on her. That's what I say. If you're 96 and you've still got it, then why not?
Indeed.
So yes. Anyway, thankfully she's okay. But a bit of a worry clearly for a while. But it was, in a way, it was really strange. And I can't explain this properly, but I'm just going to blurt it out anyway. And it might come out badly, and I hope it doesn't. But in a way, I felt kind of honoured that I was there to witness it. Does that sound awful?
No. Well, not to me, it doesn't. I mean, someone is that age, and she is well into her 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure she'd rather have you with her at such a difficult time as anybody else.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, she recovered this time, but there will come a time when she'll have one, and she won't. I think she'd choose to have you there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she would.
because obviously people do have heart attacks. It's a regular daily occurrence across the globe, but so few people actually get to witness what it's like for somebody literally that you're holding the hand of when it happens. And I almost felt honoured that I've got to see it. And I know it sounds really strange, but it's like, it's just, I'm very much up for experiences. And obviously I've now experienced somebody having a heart attack right in front of my very eyes. And it's a strange thing to say, but I feel kind of honoured that it happened when I was there. It hadn't sort of happened just as I arrived or just after I left or whatever. Literally, it was while I was holding her hands, and then it happened. So it was very odd. It was. I think it's a bit of an honour, really, because not many people get to witness that, do they? They see the aftermath, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's like being present when someone's born. That is equally an honour and equally as magical. I think both ends of life are equally magical and should be treated as such.
Yeah. The other interesting thing was, which actually I haven't thought about until last night, funnily enough, when I went to bed. These things go around in your head, don't they, when you are desperately trying to get to sleep. But it occurred to me that about 15 or 20 minutes beforehand, she sees people that aren't there, and reacts to people that aren't there, and she suddenly started seeing a lot of them. And it didn't occur to me actually until last night, because obviously the events had kind of overtaken all of that, and it's like, actually she did that again. But because she has such a poor memory thanks to Alzheimer's, it sort of begs the question as how many of them has she maybe had before that no one's been witness to, and because she forgets that she's had them, she wouldn't say anything to anybody. So it was quite interesting, really. But I hadn't even thought about it until last night. I suddenly thought, she was seeing people that she sometimes sees, and it's like, okay, yeah, she's an amazing lady. Actually, I love her a bit. She's difficult, but I love her.
Yeah, she likes you, which I think is the bit that's unusual.
Do you mind?
Did that come out wrong? I mean, she doesn't like many people, but she likes you. Was where I was going. If it came out wrong, I can only apologise.
Thank you very much. Nobody likes me. No. I know you only tolerate me in very small doses, Heather. Thank you.
Oh God, I'm so sorry.
No offence meant, but plenty taken. Thank you very much.
You have the right to be offended.
Oh dear. Well, on that note, perhaps we'll change the subject.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. So what bevy are you on this evening? Let's go there, shall we?
I'm on a Newcastle Brown. I'm enjoying being able to drink something this week, because after Saturday I'm not going to be able to, because I'll have the brace things in. So I'm kind of making the most of it between now and Friday, and then it's like, oh well, game over for a bit.
Yeah. I'm drinking a specimen sample, or rather what looks like a specimen sample.
You need to go to the doctor with that. It's cloudy.
So this is homemade plum wine from my plum tree in the front garden, which isn't very well, actually. I need to do some work with it. It's not well at all. Last year, it was just absolutely amazing, a complete bounty. And then somebody came along and hacked parts of it off in order to get a mobile home past the tree on the bridle path that they shouldn't have been getting up the bridle path. That's another story. And it's taken umbrage to it. So all I've got is sprouting flowers at the very, very top. So it's looking a bit sorry for itself, really. Anyway, so these are the plums from my plum tree. And this is the wine that I made with it. And it's cloudy because I don't use the filings thing, because they're mostly not vegan. So a bit of sludge never hurt anybody. That's what I say. Get stuck in your teeth, mind you, but it never hurt. So yes, anyway, so cheers.
Cheers. We do have an awful lot of frozen plums in our freezer from when our plum tree went berserk, and they could probably be used in wine. Even that, would they be used if they were frozen? Would that work? Okay. Well, when we can meet again, I'll stick them all in a cool box.
Oh no, don't bring them. I've still got frozen ones here.
Oh, okay. Yes, I was thinking you've got nowhere to put them anyway. No, that's not going to work. Perhaps I need the recipe.
No, I've got lots and lots actually. It was bonkers. I literally gave away over 1,000 because I was giving them to a food bank and sort of like putting them in, sort of 20 at a time in all these bags and whatnot. So I gave away over 1,000 to a food bank. And then I had a couple of, the big plastic
big tubs
boxes. I had them on a couple of tables just the other side of my fence. And I had them on there saying, please help yourself, and that was thousands as well. It literally was. And I've got prunes and I've got them frozen, and I made wine and jams and you name it, I made it.
Yeah, everything plum tree.
It was. So
I'll have to make some of the wine. That'd be the best thing, is to make some wine, because, like I say, we're probably going to get a good harvest this year again, because the tree, it takes about 2 years to recover from a big pruning, and your wine was basically savaged as opposed to pruned. So it might take a couple of years, and we may have to prune it a bit, sort of to try and prune for fruit, which is there are books on the subject and probably YouTube videos.
Have a little look. But so but anyway, it's quite nice. Oh, we've got a Bert. Hello, Bert. Bert, are you coming to say hello?
Or not?
Oh, you might be. Nab him. There he is. We have a Bert.
Oh, look at that face. Felix cat.
Yeah.
Perfect Felix cat.
Yes, might be a little tuxedo for something.
I know.
Yes. He's punishing me from being out.
Yeah, he's kind of going, nope. I'm off.
No, I'm quite glad you're home, but I'm not going to tell you. Yes, I think that's how it works. I don't know what happened to him yesterday. I think it was yesterday. It might have been the day before. Anyway, I lost track of time. But he came in and he jumped up on my lap, and I was reading. And as he jumped up on my lap, I thought he was Barney because he was grey. And I thought, oh, it's Barney jumping up on my lap. That's unusual. Normally, she is more of a bedtime cat rather than a lap time cat. And then as I started stroking Barney, I realised that it wasn't Barney, and it was like somebody had just chucked a bucket of ash over him. He was all grey and busy, but only on the top. So it was, I had to send Hattie to work to clean him up.
Indeed.
Fortunately, he's quite proficient.
There's a very big question. Lee has asked the most amazing question. Thank you. It's superb. I'll read it for you. It's all right. It says, question: what have been the changes in prejudice, acceptance of your beliefs or way of life over your lives from public, friends, and even family?
Oh, what a great question. Wow. Lee. I love that. Go on, Heather.
Well, without delving too far into my own sort of family situation, I would say that it's improved. At the beginning, it took a while before I told them, to be honest, because it didn't seem the right moment. It took a while. I was dealing with a step parent who thought yoga was a cult, so we really had some problems. We just park that there. So I kind of, and eventually I kind of dropped it into conversation one evening. I'd kind of hinted at it, and then it was, oh, you're a white witch. You get that a lot. It's like, oh, you're a white witch. It's like, well, I'm a witch.
Yeah.
Well, I don't get into it.
It really irritates me, that.
It does. It irritates the hell out of me too. And I just explained, I said, well, I'm a witch, like all human beings, we have dark and light aspects. I said, but I try to be a decent witch and a thoughtful one, and kind of leave it there. So there's all that. And then there was the period where they were quite interested. So you kind of told them a little bit, and then they just decided they weren't interested anymore, and the subject's never really been spoken again.
Yeah.
Friends have taken it in different ways. Some friends have been absolutely embracing of it, interested, or, you know, sort of a you do you attitude. That's absolutely fine. There have been one or two friends I've lost on the way because they've thought it was just too out there and too strange, or I've lost them for a while where they've kind of distanced themselves and then come to their senses a bit later on. But, you know, I kind of think, you know, I mean, you know, you don't kind of become a witch, you are a witch anyway. And I kind of think, why is it a surprise to them? Anyone who actually knows me or gets me is kind of not going to be terribly surprised. It just goes to show how many people actually don't pay any attention or don't make an effort to understand you at all.
I think it's actually, though, it's making the associations between what you do and what you think, and that association with witchcraft, rather than just having an interest in crystals, an interest in whatever. So yeah, I think it's people just don't make that connection. I think it's that, because if they're not that way inclined themselves, you know, and they don't, I mean, there's so many people that will say to me, it's like, not is that a real thing, but words to that effect.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's like, what, really? Like, because it's, for them, it's still this whole, you know, Disney green-skinned Wicked Witch of the West thing. You know, it's, and it's like, oh, it's not a real thing. Yes, it is a real thing. And
I don't believe in witches. It's like, well, you better stop, because there's a few of us about.
Yeah, and again, it's, you do get that, don't you? Yeah. It's like, well, we're not mythical creatures. They exist for millennia. So yeah.
And the whole thing that people are so willing to believe in bad magic or curses and the fear aspect, but somehow to believe in magic being used in a good purpose is somehow such a big leap. It's like, interesting.
It's bizarre, isn't it? Yeah. I had a similar sort of thing. Obviously, I mean, I've been out for decades, so to speak. Really, I never was really in the closet.
We came out of the closet, didn't we?
Yeah. You know, and I've always been very open about, you know, the stuff that I find interesting and, you know, that I would partake in. And I think people sort of, I suppose my mom might really love me or hate me, but I think that's the thing, you know, sort of at school, people were like, you know, don't talk to her, she's weird. Or they liked the weird and wanted to know a bit more. And it's, you know, and embrace the weird. And I like embracing the weird. But I did have a bit of a beige period. I call it my beige period. And that was kind of in my early 20s, and I kind of tried to sort of suppress it a bit. Because, you know, was it a fantasy? Was it just me, you know, sort of living a fantasy? You know, was it that, and so on? But
and you get the world of work and the realities of day-to-day life sometimes can kind of knock it out, and you don't get the time or the headspace to be who you really are.
Yeah, it was also, so I had kids quite young. So, you know, I had my daughter when I was 22 and another one at 26. So, you know, it was that thing of trying to conform. And I sort of tried on and off occasionally before that. But, you know, I really made a concerted effort to conform and so on and so forth. So reverting back to type, so to speak, it was always, oh, it's a phase. Oh, it's a phase. And I remember I must have been in my late 30s. My mum died when I was 38. And she was in hospital, I think. I went to go and visit on yet another occasion. And she didn't recognise me. She was very, very poorly. And I sort of waved my rings at her and said, you know, it's me. You recognise the rings. And of course, clattered them and the bracelets and whatever. And a bit later on, and she's sort of like, oh, you know, is that you? And it's like, yes, it's me. It's me. And she said to one of the nurses, oh, it's just a phase. It's like, it's been a bloody long phase, Mum.
Yeah.
In excess of 35 years here. It's quite a phase now, isn't it? And here I am, 54, and it's still quite a good phase.
Yeah, it really is. And it changes and evolves like anything, as we do.
Yeah.
And in terms of what the public think, I kind of, you know, I don't really care what people think. I think that's a nice position to be in, and I've got to. I work for myself. I'm not. I don't have to go in and be somebody I'm not, or try and pretend to be something I'm not. I haven't done for many years.
Yeah.
And I mean, in my 20s was probably the same. It wasn't a beige period exactly, but I did very much suppress what I was in order to try and get on, and just that whole confusing period. I found my 20s incredibly confusing, and not easy. I found them quite difficult. So I find my 50s a lot better, a lot more accepting of myself and forgiving of myself.
Yeah, it's interesting actually, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, I find now that I kind of drop it in as early in a conversation of meeting somebody as possible, actually, because I think, you know, you can basically stick that in the pipe and smoke it, and, you know, decide whether you want to continue with this particular early stage conversation with me, or whether you want to walk away at this point in time. And some people, because they're like, oh no, that's, you know, that's going against God and Jesus and whatever. And I think, well, you walk away and that suits me absolutely fine. Off you trot.
Absolutely. And it saves a lot of time and wasted energy. And
and so I do find that in the conversation. I must admit, when I have to think back immediately to when I joined our drumming group and did what I normally do and dropped it in conversation. I think it was in the first evening, I think, that I was, oh, what do you do? And it's like, oh, well, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. I do this. Oh, and I'm a witch. And it was also like, oh, carried on. It's like, yeah, that's fine. They don't, you know, it literally was just like, well, really, how interesting. And that was and that was the end of that. And then the questions came later because it didn't matter. You know, I was just a person that was there and wanted to share what they loved. And, you know, I was hoping to, you know, join in something that they loved already. And I was hoping to be part of that too. So clearly had an interest. And it was that was the important thing, and not whether I had, you know, 3 arms or 1 leg. You know, it didn't matter. You know,
3 arms would make drumming awfully tricky.
Quite difficult time.
Yeah.
Oh dear. But you know, it was, you know, sort of on the list of importance and relevance. It was like, oh really? And so you know, just gloss over it. And then, you know, and then I find people tend to come back to it afterwards. And it's been quite interesting at work actually the last 10 days or so, because I've had lots of people coming to ask me about it, and people that I would have categorized as not in the least bit interested have been coming up to say, well, actually, I'm interested in so and so. What's your opinion of it? And I've been blown away by what people have been saying to me, and the people that have had an interest, because people that are polite have an interest, and people that have got general interests are interested. But people that have got their own set of interests that overlap, if you think the lovely old Venn diagram, you've got these like a Venn diagram.
I love a Venn diagram. Yeah.
They're very underrated, I think.
They are.
And so suddenly you get this overlap, because, you know, what they like from their side of things suddenly overlaps, and they're like, oh right, okay. And we're talking about auras and crystals, and it's been brilliant actually. And you know, people have been genuinely interested and genuinely wanted conversations about tarot or palm reading or whatever, and they're like, if we get a break, can you do something? Yes.
And all these things are out there now. I think they're just so much more accepted, and people aren't necessarily so spooked out by them. Some people are, but certainly younger generations, sort of our age and younger, definitely not.
Yeah, the general populace, I think, are less perturbed, so we say. Yeah. But it's been really quite interesting, you know, and you've got lots of people that are interested in astrology and numerology and so on. And of course, you sort of come at it maybe from a slightly different angle. But nevertheless, as you say, people, I think, generally are more accepting of everything, because times have moved on. You know, people are more accepting of people's race and ethnicity and sexuality and all that kind of stuff. And so that means that religion or being a witch, whichever way you want to look at it, or being gay is just one more thing to go, oh, really? So what does that entail?
And be interested, Some says, oh, well, I'm this. I'm like, oh, tell me more.
Interested in difference rather than scared by the difference. And I think that's, and I think that's actually really quite refreshing, to be honest with you. Certainly not like it used to be in the 70s and 80s. It didn't used to be like that then, did it? But
yeah.
Come a long way.
When I was a hypnotherapist, just when I started in the sort of mid-90s, people were like, oh, that's a bit spooky, don't look me in the eyes and all this. And the idea of counselling and stuff was all like, well, that's what they do in America. They have a shrink, It was all very, very, And I saw it change over the sort of 25 years that I did it into being like, oh, can you do me sort of thing. It's like total flip round of, oh, that's interesting. And it taps into something, a different experience, another level of consciousness. And people are so much more au fait with that now. So when you explain that a lot of magic and stuff is about going into another level of consciousness, they're like, oh, yeah.
And people have heard of the whole mindfulness thing very often. I've heard of the whole mindfulness thing, and of course that's part and parcel of it. And it was really quite funny a couple of years ago, or maybe 18 months ago, and I was talking to my eldest daughter, who's not into witchcraft at all. But it was great because she's like, I know you've been teaching this for years, Mum, but but I've just discovered X, Y, and Z, and A, B, and C. It's like, yes.
Yeah.
And like, is that what? Yes. Oh, 30 years. 30 years you've been on this planet. 30 years you've known me, and finally the penny's dropped.
Bingo. Being related, people kind of tend to screen out things. They don't.
Mum's a witch, which is really weird. Yeah.
We've got an interesting question in the side chat here, Lee. Again, great question. How did you deal with the census question? Answer, ignore, etc.
Oh, the religion thing. Pagan.
Yeah, I did pagan too, and I did it deliberately because so many people. It's a very broad brushstroke, and it just shows the sort of. It will highlight the groundswell of people being more generically interested and across a range of religions that could broadly come under a pagan umbrella, like heathenism or just
Druidry or
all of the many different flavors, shall we say, that kind of fit in. So I think it's when they produce the results, and I don't know how long it's going to take them. I suspect not as long as it used to because of computering. That's a word, isn't it? So hopefully they'll break down the number. It is now because I've invented it. So when they crunch the numbers and drill into them, they'll see, they'll get a really good picture that society really has changed.
Yeah. The reason that I did it, actually, I took guidance from the Pagan Federation.
Me too.
So I've got a Facebook page which is called Witchin, same as this channel, with an apostrophe after the S. So there. But before kind of sort of putting that information on my page, which I run kind of like a magazine, really, isn't it? But before that, I kind of went and saw what the Pagan Federation had to say about things. And actually, the thing that swayed me most of all about putting pagan rather than one of the subdivisions of witchcraft, druidry, heathenism, etc., was that if you've then got those subdivisions, they then won't be classed as paganism because in the number crunching, they don't know then to put them under that umbrella that we know. They don't know to put it under the same umbrella. So it still becomes very, very small fractions of people throughout the country rather than a large percentage chunk of pagans. And the reason specifically is so that that I kind of advocated what the Pagan Fed said was for things such as the legal hand fasting situation, the marriage, because of course in Wales, isn't it? You've got the legal. Is it Wales or is it Scotland? I forget.
I'm not sure, but I know in England technically.
But no, you know, being hand fasted is not a legally binding thing, whereas in forgive me, Scotland or Wales, I forget which. How do you remember? Tired. But in one of the two Celtic countries, I do apologise. It is legally, it's Scotland, and it is legally recognised as an official joining, as it were. Whereas
you have to get married twice.
Yeah, as you say, don't have to twice, but over here we do, and it just adds clout to, you know, when we send these petitions and stuff to government, say we want this to be a legal thing. It just adds clout by doing things like that. So yeah, absolutely, yeah. Whereas I say, if you're sort of got splinter groups such as the heathens and the witches and the druids and
Wiccans, it all gets Alexandrian Wiccans, Sayak Wiccans. It all gets very.
Because they go, all right, okay, we've got 0.3% of this, and so and so and so and so. You add all those tiny percentages together, and all of a sudden you've got 15%.
I think it's going to be something around that, actually. And as Lex said earlier, she put pagan in, although she hasn't got, you know, she wouldn't say she was officially anything in particular. But a lot of people, I think, would think, yeah, actually, I lean more that way than any of the other religions. So that's going to swell the number. So it could be 15 or even 20%, I think. Yeah. I'm hoping, anyway, because how lovely.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I think there's been a massive increase in that. I think there's been people that are, I don't know, just, I think as part of the event of the whole mindfulness thing, I think people have been awakening themselves to different possibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I think that's the thing, you know, you sort of get indoctrinated from a young age very often, don't you? And, you know, and certainly years ago, it was what your parents did, and therefore that's what you did, and that's what you handed down. But people are beginning to be a bit more self-aware and self-conscious of that kind of thing, rather than just being sheep. Basically, they're thinking for themselves more. And of course, you know, with the encouraging point of the mindfulness and self-awareness and self-empowerment, people are going, well, actually, maybe this, and actually maybe that. And I think it's very encouraging. So yeah. So we've got Chris saying things. I can't see what it says. I can't see anything.
Put the eyes on.
Oh, the eyes. Oh dear, oh dear. Redwing says used to work in theatre. Most folk were very accepting of paganism and witchcraft. Yeah.
Traditionally very accepting of anything different, really. I think much more open-minded as a bunch, I think.
I think so. The more of us can show that we're human, that we too have the same concerns as anyone else, the more we're accepted. Yeah, absolutely, Chris. Yeah, definitely. From census forms to chatting on the local radio station, I'm accepted as pagan. People are intrigued. Just be you. The witch will shine through. Indeed. Power to the witch.
Indeed.
Becca, of course, says, "Oh, Becca's in the room. Go the Beccas." I feel paganism is the most natural. You can't ignore Mother Earth, as it's all around. I mean, bless her. We live on her.
Indeed. Be rude to ignore.
Exactly, and people do ignore, and it's bloody rude. Yeah. Yeah, isn't it just? You know, it's just, yeah. People are like, oh, but this, and oh, but that, and oh, but the other. And you think, but you can see that. It's happening. You can see it. Yeah. And you're spoiling it very often.
Yes. It's like, oi, don't do that. That's rude.
Don't do that. It's not nice. Yeah. Bit of Joyce Grenfell there. Don't do that, dear. Take that out of that orifice, will you, William?
Oh dear, Joyce Grenfell. What a legend. What a legend she was.
Oh, I loved her. Absolutely loved her.
She's hilarious.
She was funny, wasn't she? I had the biography or autobiography of her somewhere. I don't know where it is. I must fish it out.
Yeah, there was a TV programme about her a couple of months back. I caught part of, and that was superb.
I'd like to have seen that. I'd like to see if it's available on catch up.
Well, she got very typecast. That was the thing.
Yeah.
She as often happened back then. You did one thing well, and they're like, right, that's you.
Yeah.
So she was always playing these kind of slightly, and she wasn't really like that at all in real life.
No.
But she, she'd literally been shoved into a role where it has often happened. She wanted to do more serious stuff, and as often people do, and just didn't happen. Bless her.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just happy to do anything. Easily, please. Stand there. Okay. Shouting, scream. All right then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Joyce Grenfell. She was an absolute love.
Who was that?
Joyce Grenfell. I like Margaret Rutherford as well. I always find her very funny. All the old ladies. Oh dear. Yes. I managed to get myself on a foraging walk on Saturday. It was.
Oh, you went to go.
I did. It was tremendous. Tremendous.
See what you did. Just here a week.
Oh, groan. Sorry. No, it was really jolly good. And there were half a dozen or so of us that went out trundling. And we went with our phones and our apps. Modern day witchcraft.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we went with our phones and our apps, and we went trundling around in the woods, looking at various trees that have just got new leaves and things on them, and little flowers that are coming along. All right.
Yes.
And little flowers that were coming along. And, it was lovely. So we found some little violets and some lady smock, which is cuckoo
pint, isn't it?
No, it's not cuckoo pint.
No, that's a different thing.
Oh, cuckoo pint. I've got cuckoo pint in the front garden.
Yeah.
And you sort of have these lovely sort of like goosefoot leaves. Talking of goosefoot leaves, I had to do an emergency stop this morning. 5:30, I had to do an emergency stop for two pheasants.
They're not a bright bird. They're not.
No. But I've
got missed out in their own department.
I'll tell you about my pheasant story in a minute. But who knew that pheasants cluck? I didn't know. Did you know?
I don't think I'd ever heard one make a noise, really.
Well, there you go. And they were very flustered because I nearly got them. But I did an emergency stop and I missed them, fortunately.
They're related to chickens and things, aren't they? They're all from the same turkey.
Yeah. Well, there's sort of this whole. They did a cross between a turkey gobble and a chicken cluck. And they're like, tires? My tires? No one likes driving around with half a pheasant on their front bumper, do they? So no. Anyway. So I did manage to listen. But I must tell you my pheasant story. When I used to be a driving instructor, I was teaching this lovely lady called Chrissy, who was interesting. She used to come out with the most interesting things, and mostly really quite funny. And we were doing the country lanes driving lesson, which she'd been dreading. She'd been absolutely dreading this lesson. I always thought they were great fun, but anyway. And we came around the corner, and there was a pheasant just doing what pheasants do, being thick, standing in the middle of the road.
Yeah. They are a thick bird. It's true.
So she had to do not quite an emergency stop, but she had to stop really quite quickly because there it was doing its thing. And she sort of was busy getting her breath right back, and she went, "Oh, I thought it was a traffic light." And I'm like,
"What?"
Yes, that's exactly what I said. Thank you.
What
do you mean you thought it was a traffic light? She goes, "Well, it was red and yellow, wasn't it?" I was like,
I'd be quite concerned about someone being behind a wheel who mistakes a pheasant for a traffic light.
Yeah, thought it was a traffic light because it was red and yellow.
Right.
I've never looked at a pheasant quite the same since.
So a flying mallard could be a green ghost. I mean, what? Okay.
So there you go. So I can't now look at a pheasant without instantly thinking traffic lights.
Right. It cannot be unseen, I think, that one.
It was really funny. It was that whole, what?
That's taken surrealism and just kind of moving it over a notch, isn't it? It's like, oh,
Move over, darling.
I mean, we think of some pretty weird shit, but that's.
Oh yeah, I used to hear all sorts of weird and wonderful things when I was an instructor all the time. It was hilarious. that was a good one. Yeah. So as I say, as soon as I see pheasants, instantly poof, traffic lights. There they are in the mind. Are they going to suddenly change? Probably not. No. Oh God, I can't remember what I was talking about pheasants now. After the fact that I nearly ran them over this morning.
Yeah.
What did I start off saying? I've forgotten.
That you were talking about them nearly running over them this morning. Yeah.
Yeah, but there was a bit before that, which is why I brought it up. No, I don't know. It's gone.
Yes. That ship has sailed.
Oh God. Yeah. Funny things. Yeah. I was saying about foraging on Saturday.
You were.
That's what it was. I said cuckoo, didn't I? So yeah, they're called cuckoo. But it's lady smock or cuckoo. Come on, Chris. I'm sure you know what it's called. Cuckoo flowers. Yeah, maybe cuckoo flowers. Anyway, so we had them, and some of the wild garlic was coming up. So some of the girls picked some wild garlic, but I've got some woodland just opposite my front window, and it's absolutely stuffed full, and nobody goes there. It's not private woodland. It's just one of those patches of woodland that absolutely nobody ever goes in. So I help myself, and there's acres of wild garlic in there. So I can go and film up this whenever I feel like it, really. So I didn't actually bring anything back from there, and there was some pink flowers that were rather pretty as well. Forget what they were called now. So it was really nice, and we went and saw some ducks and geese around the pond and stuff, and it was blooming chilly, but it was nice just being able to meet up with some friends, because obviously it was the first time I'd seen friends since the lockdown thing.
Very long time. Yes.
So it was nice to have a trundle about and meet up with some friends and have a laugh, and just a general catch up really, and trundle about. It was really nice. Really, really enjoyed it. It was lovely. It was chilly though. So
Warmth should come back, I would say. Beginning of next week, I think it all starts heating up a little bit.
Well, I do hope so. It's been really chilly. This time last year we were roasting, weren't we?
Well, it's still been. The thing is, it's not that bad in the daytime, but in the evenings,
yes, it is.
Oh,
you're outside all day. It's very cold.
Well, yes, obviously. I mean, I'm in the car or hopping to a charity shop, not standing outside freezing their whatnots off.
Yeah. And of course, when you get the snow, that's quite interesting too.
Yeah, that was Monday, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah. So, it has been really cold at work because I'm outside all day. But oh my God. But as I say, this time last year, it was absolutely boiling. Summer dresses and ice drinks and the full works. Got a fly. Oh, yeah. It's obviously summer. I've got a fly.
Oh, now you see, we call that the reselling fly. So why you've got it rather than me? There's always a sort of a big blue bottle that sort of.
Can you share this? Do you share this blue bottle?
We share this. We have equal custody of it, I think.
Well, frankly, you can have it back.
I don't know what it popped into you, but there we go. Bit of reselling on the side, eh?
Well, that can just bugger off, actually.
One of your cats will eat it, won't it? It's bound to be drowsy. Not very big.
No. Barney, I was absolutely fuming with her when I got home today. I brought home some ham that was going to go in the bin because it went off today. So I thought, well, rather than putting it in the bin today, I'll bring it home for the cats. So I chopped it all up for them. Bearing in mind, it's not off. It's absolutely fine, but it wouldn't have been all right for tomorrow because apparently it goes off at midnight.
Yeah.
I brought it home, cut it into little tiny weeny chunks so that the 3 cats could share it nicely. No. Barney decides that she's going to scoff the lot, and because she's scoffed the lot, brought the lot up with insects. It's like, Great. So nobody can have it, and now I've got to clear that up.
I wouldn't be doing that again if I were you.
No, wished I hadn't bothered. Wasn't it? Yes. Yeah, glutton. That's what that is.
Scarfed it so fast.
She literally did, and there was a huge quantity of it. And she literally was just like, "I'm going to eat this, so they can't. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine." And yeah,
And
did
then
not fit it. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You think you're doing something nice? No.
No.
No, not going to make that mistake again. Disgusting cat.
They can be disgusting.
Disgusting. Definitely.
Oh, Lainey. She took a picture of a green bottle today.
Agree?
And yeah, well, she's very good at photography, Lainey. She's got an amazing camera, and it is really detailed. I mean, we're friends on Facebook, and I see these amazing pictures. And of course, she did that calendar as well. And she took a picture of a green bottle today, and you can see its leg hairs. They're nearly as bad as mine, and mine.
Yeah, it's close up. Imagine it. You notice, don't you, that the bottom of your trousers just seems to get a little bit thicker. Have a shave, and then they'll come back down again.
Yeah. So,
that's we're used to.
Yeah. It's time for my summer molt. It's like,
yes, exactly. Yes.
Cuckoo buds. Cuckoo buds.
Shakespeare referred to them as golden hued or probably marsh marigold. They're sort of pinky though, aren't they? The marsh marigold.
I'm not sure.
Oh no, I'm thinking of the marshmallow is pinky rather than
marshmallow is pinky. Yes.
Yeah.
Different thing. Yeah.
Do you know, really irritates me when people say marshmallow.
Marshmallow, not mallow.
Yeah. Really, I never say anything, but it's that whole.
Are you sure? Did you really mean to say that?
Yeah. Swap out that out. And I know it's really, really picky, but it's like it's not mellow, it's mellow.
I know. Small things.
Yeah. No one shouldn't get irritated by that. And it's just it does. It's like because it's an entirely different concept in my head. Because I'm really literal with everything. My brain works in a very, very literal way. And so when I hear that, I'm like, that's something totally different. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Wrong.
That's a split second of like, what's dreadful, I know, I apologise. It's being mellow and some marshmallow is just totally different to me.
Two things that don't really belong together. Yeah.
No, exactly. And it just does not compute. Sorry, no.
Computer says no.
But yeah. Oh dear, I know, I'm a picky whatnot. You can improve.
Oh dear. I did Lainey's Banish Bin program last night, and that was good fun.
What did you put in?
Yeah, if you Lainey's channel is the same as her name there, Big Girls Really Do Cry. And it is very, very good. It's very, very good. She has lots of people on. Yeah, she does find things too. Yeah.
So is it like Room 101 type thing?
Yes, very much so. Nothing to do with that program at all, but very similar.
Similar kind of idea.
But Lainey's a good quiz master and did a really sterling job.
Oh no, but what did you put in the Banish bin then?
I so much. Well, what you do is you have to pick 3 things under each subject heading, like people who do something, or bands, or things that foods and stuff that you really hate. And then what Lainey will do is decide which one she's going to save, which isn't always easy, is it, Lainey? Or and then the other 2, the chat get to vote on which one gets banished. So it's really fun and interactive, and I watch. I've seen quite a few of them, and they are funny.
Oh,
yeah, but they are just fun for a bit of entertainment, really. But it's amazing.
You evaded the question, You have evaded the question. What did you put in the Banish bin?
I put licorice in.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Well, it was a choice between licorice. Oh God, I'm trying to remember now because I've thrown the list away.
What was the topic? Sweets.
But that was one of the questions. Yeah, I think it was licorice. It was bland food, because people did vote that bland food should go in. I think the other one was flavoured coffees or something like that, because I like my coffee, unless it's got turmeric in it, in which case that's a good thing. But you know,
there's much of a flavouring though, is it? It's an enhancement.
It's definitely an enhancement. Body suits with crotch poppers.
It is in my house.
There we are. We did clothing, and it was body suits with crotch poppers like we used to wear in the sort of 90s. Low-rise jeans and tights. Pet peeves, all of them. Tights.
Oh no, see, tights have got a place.
Well, they have if they fit properly, but that was my thing, is that they very rarely, you either end up with so much material at the top that you practically got a bra and a bodysuit, or sort of goes over the girls, or
you need armholes, don't you, so they can go over your shoulders,
exactly, or you end up with sort of the crotch area and the crotch area, like there being distance between, which is a horrible feeling. So yeah, we had a lot of fun with it, but you can go back and watch some, and they're quite fun. Lex has done one with her as well, and several other people.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds great. I'll have to look that up. So that's on Big Girls Really Do Cry YouTube channel.
That's on our YouTube channel. Yeah. She does quizzes every week. Done loads of things. Really, really amazing.
Yeah. Brilliant. Look, because I've got most of the day off tomorrow.
Oh well. I'm sure you've got things to do other than sitting watching YouTube all day, but maybe it's just nice to think you can.
Well, yeah, it's nice to have something like that while I'm eating my lunch or something like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Frankie Signs has said that they tried mango Pepsi yesterday. Mango. Ooh,
I'm not sure.
I mean, a mango is an incredibly powerful taste, and it's incredibly sweet. So
but then it's Pepsi, isn't it? Because that's very, very strong taste. Very sweet.
Cherry Coke can work if it's cold enough, because that takes the edge off it. But mango Pepsi. If I'd known about mango Pepsi, I think I would have probably put it in there. But I was not aware. So there we go.
Because I'm not much of a cola lover. Other brands are available. I'm not much of a cola lover. I find it burns my mouth, actually. And also, it has a rather unfortunate effect on my persona.
A sugar rush.
It sets me absolutely loopy for days.
Probably best avoided then.
Yes, I learned that. And I mean, even when my kids were younger, and I'd had a glass of Coke, which was very, very unusual. But I'd have a glass of Coke, and then I'd be all over the place. And they're like, "Have you had a glass of Coke, Mum?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like,
"Oh."
So I'm gonna have to deal with her for 3 days.
It doesn't contain cocaine anymore. It really doesn't.
It literally sends me loopy. So I avoid it like the plague. But I don't like the flavour of it very much, to be honest. It's
I liked it when I was a kid, but not as an adult. It's too sweet.
I hated it when I was a kid, actually, and I think that's because the first time I ever had it was when I was 7. I went to go and live in America for a little while in Florida. And of course, American Coke quite different to British Coke, isn't it?
Sweeter, I think.
I'm not sure, but it's got quite a different flavour. And I was given it because I think that's what they do to all children in America. Anyway, I was given it when I was over there, and I just didn't like it at all. And so for years, at that time, it really wasn't that available over here, or if it was very expensive, so I didn't have it. And then when I sort of got into my teens and other people were drinking it, I had this memory of what I hated when I was 7. And so I didn't drink it for years even then. So I probably went back to having some in my 20s, by which time everybody realised that it didn't affect me very well. I was not quite the person they thought I was prior to having it.
How strange. I've never heard it. I mean, I've heard of people going a bit looped because they've had too much sugar.
Yeah.
Um,
I could eat a whole bowl full of sugar and I wouldn't be the same as just one glass of Coke.
no, so it must be something else in it.
Yeah. And it's not the caffeine, because as you know, I drink quite a lot of caffeine.
Very caffeine tolerant, yes.
Yeah, so I'm really, quite used to that. So it's not the sugar and it's not the caffeine, and sort of bloody fly. So it's not the sugar and it's not the caffeine. There's obviously something else in there that completely sends me cuckoo.
Could be the caramel food colouring. Wibblechick's saying it's in Pepsi and it's E150. That's its number. An E number.
Good old E numbers. Yeah.
Herbie Kit Kat, which is quite a name. Congratulations on that. Says any soda in the US is 1,000% sweeter. We definitely have more sugar in things, coming from someone who lives here. Yeah.
So
I mean, their peanut butter taste, butter's sweet, isn't it? It's like,
yeah.
E150. Yeah.
I'll have to look that up actually, see what else it's
Worth investigating. Caramel food colouring, because I'm sure that will turn up in other things. But then, because you don't eat much stuff that's pre-prepared, you probably don't come across it too much. But worth knowing.
Yeah, I'll have a look and see. I'll have something purposely with that in and see whether I get the same effect.
Yeah, just a little bit. Don't get too mad.
Oh, wait until anyone. Yeah, you get the full benefit.
Yeah, let's make an experiment.
On the bends, yeah. Hello.
So, she's been at the Coke again.
I mean, let's face it, I'm fairly over the top at the best of times, but oh my God. You don't want to see me on that. I must be awful, because I know I'm over the top most of the time. But oh God, it must be awful for people on the receiving end of it. It's not very nice.
It's a stimulant. It's something that's a real stimulant. Like it's boring when they're on Coke, as in the other sort of Coke.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it sends me proper loopy. It really does. So best avoided. But I'll wait till you come, Heather.
Yeah. Okay then. Well, at least I've got a benchmark. I know where that. I can say, oh, that's unusual.
That is worse than usual. Oh God.
Oh dear. Have a glass of wine.
Bring the value with you. Yeah. Or knockout drops, one or the other, or a hammer. Yeah.
No. Perhaps some vervain incense or something, but yeah. That's calming.
Talking of that, I've got some where is it? It's not vervain. What is it? Hang on a minute. I'll get it.
Vetiver? That's the other one, isn't it?
Yeah, no, this stuff. So I got this stuff as recommended by my lovely new friend at work. And she said, get this stuff, it will calm the cats down. Obviously, I've lost one of my beloved pussies. And she said, get this stuff. Therefore, cat comfort. And it's Valerian. Valerian root.
It's one of those. Vetiver, Valerian, vervain.
One of the verbs.
Vervain.
And she's like, you want to be careful where you spray it. It smells like cheesy feet. Well.
Oh, hasn't one of your cats got cheesy feet anyway?
No, that was Muffin.
Oh,
we don't have Muffin anymore. But Muffin was a Maine Coon, and he used to sweat through his paws. And of course, being a Maine Coon, he used to have these great tufts of fur in between all these pads. And he'd be washing, and he'd be like, lick, 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 and then he'd go.
Offended by his own feet.
He was literally offended. Bit revolting, is it? Anyway, so she said, be careful where you spray it because it absolutely stinks like cheesy feet. And when she'd first been recommended it, she had been accusing her husband for several days of, not washing his feet and, had to take his shoes out and all the rest of it. And he was even agreeing with her, bless him. And it was really quite uncomfortable. So I thought, okay, I'll be really mindful of where I spray this stuff. Well, either they've changed their formula, or I don't have an aversion to the smell of cheesy feet because I haven't noticed it at all. I keep thinking,
let's hope it's the former.
I know, and I keep thinking, should I have noticed something really revolting by now? or am I just
nose blind?
So yeah, so I'm kind of having a bit of a dilemma now as to whether I ought to carry on. I don't know. I keep expecting to be disgusted, and I'm not disgusted. So, so I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I think I'm good on it. It just smells a bit alcoholic.
Oh, okay. They must have changed the formulation.
Maybe they have. But it certainly doesn't smell like cheesy feet. And I've sprayed it on. I started sort of. She said, "Oh, just spray it on like their favourite toy or something." Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I expected to have this waft. No. So I sprayed it on something else. No waft. And then it's like, okay, so I'll spray it on Maisie's favourite chair, on the blanket she always used to sit on, because they've been avoiding that chair completely.
Oh,
and I thought, well, I'll try and encourage them to sit, because they used to sit with her and on her on the chair. They've been avoiding the chair. And I thought, right, okay, I'm going to, really take the bull by the horns and do the entire blanket. Nothing. I'm like, I'm nose blind. That's it.
Like I say, they've either changed the formulation, or maybe the husband, as Becca said, did have cheesy feet after all.
He really did.
Blame the spray. Blame the spray.
Oh dear. Anyway, so
is it helping though? Is it doing the job?
Well, yeah, I've got that, and I bought some Feliway as well, because that's got the cat pheromones in, hasn't it?
And it's got one of the V's in as well, because I bought something similar and I can't bear the smell of it. So I was like, oh, sorry, no, I can't.
No.
Too powerful.
For me, it's preferable than having upset moggies.
Of course.
Because obviously they're still, I mean, it's only a couple of weeks, isn't it? So it's still very new. I'll tell you what I did do though. I collected her ashes, put them in a little tin. There she is. Pretty sad. But I went and collected them, and I thought, well, because I live in rented accommodation, what I didn't want to do is just sprinkle her in the garden, because if I choose to move on at some point in time, then I don't know, I just had a bit of an issue with that. So I thought, if I buy a really nice plant and a really, really nice pot, then if I move on, I might not, but if I move on, then I can take it with me.
Yeah.
So she was a white, mostly white, and a grey cat. But in the summertime, she always had a tinge of green about her, and that's because if anybody mowed the grass, she used to go and roll in it and come in with a green coat.
Traffic light.
So she was a pheasant in a former life. Anyway, so yeah, I thought, well, I'll get an evergreen plant that's got white flowers on it. I wanted an evergreen plant that had white flowers, and I found an azalea. Obviously, azalea that's got white flowers with a greenish tinge to them.
Oh,
that's absolutely perfect. So I got that, and then I bought a grey pot for it to sit in, so I can put the ashes underneath the plant and then do that. So I got that Monday, but and I've not been in, and the weather's been crap when I have been in. So that might be my job for tomorrow if it's not too horrible outside, and get all that sorted out. So so that'll be quite nice. But it's pretty, and she was a pretty girl. So yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, and of course, as you say, you can take it with you should you need to or wish to. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. But by having it in a pot, it's quite nice. You just like move it around and so on. Either around the garden. As it grows, it might be more suitable in one place than another as time goes by.
Also, being in an azalea, it needs alkaline soil anyway. It needs the ericaceous compost.
Indeed. So I thought, well, there's that, and then if I do happen to decide to move on because I win the lottery or something, then so be it, and I can just take it with me. So that would be nice. So we've got Susie in. Hello, Susie.
Oh.
See you there. Coca-Cola contains caffeine and cola leaf, which are more likely to affect mood than the colouring. It's also full of phosphoric acid, which was a genolite rust remover was genolite rust remover is.
I've not heard of genolite rust remover, but if that's what phosphoric acid does, then it's not surprising it burns your mouth a bit.
Yeah. Because I know that they've used Coke concentrate to clean all their fleets, unless it's just one of these rumours, to clean their fleets of engines in all their delivery trucks and things. I've heard of that before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
I wonder what it is that sends me loopy then.
You'll have to research.
I will.
Experiment.
Well, as I say, the bottom line is I don't like it much, and it sends me loopy, so I don't really drink it. But
if it really is the only thing that does that, I mean, chances are that E150 probably turns up in other things. Yeah. So it must be something very specific, maybe like the cola leaf, because that's only ever going to be in Coca-Cola, presumably, or Pepsi or whatever. Yeah. Because you, like say, caffeine you're fine with, and other fizzy drinks have a level of acidity in them, I suppose.
Although I have to say, I mean, I know I can be quite extra, and I can remember several occasions where I've been at a restaurant dancing on a table. Yes, really. And people have said, "Oh my God, I'll have a pint of what she's having," and I'm like, "I'm on lemonade. I'm driving." And they're like, "Oh."
So maybe lemonade also has a little effect.
Maybe it's just carbon dioxide.
Maybe it's just being in a mad mood.
Yeah, maybe it's just me. Who knew? I don't know. But I do know I can be a bit extra sometimes. And sometimes I can be extra. You've seen some of that, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. And it's very good to clean a really bad toilet with. That'll be Coca-Cola, presumably, or...
Oh, what, not just me in a hyper mood, you mean?
Set you to cleaning the loos. Keep you busy, why not? Might as well use all that.
Hey.
There's the brush.
Conversation.
I know.
Dear, oh dear. So, where are we? So, Pervy Kit Kat says, what a great name. I just want to say that I love that idea. That's something I want to do, but I pass too. The only thing I would say is that you'll probably need a very large pot. And the reason for that is you don't grind down to as much powder as you might think you do. That's all I'm saying. But you can always have some jewellery too. Yeah, I considered that. And obviously jewellery is one of my big things. I don't know. I'd be terrified of losing it.
Yeah. I think that's the thing, isn't it? And it's quite a process, and it's quite pricey in itself. So you've got to have the,
Yeah, but I mean, those aside, I think I'd just be really worried about losing it. So, yeah, but no one's going to go and nick your plant. Well, theoretically, no one's going to go and nick your plant, not unless it was an absolute prize beauty, I suppose. But
exactly.
Exactly.
Frankie's Finds is wondering if Mango Pepsi will clean will clean her toilet, and I'm like, it probably will, because that's the only good thing it's good for, by the sound of things. Mango.
I reckon it'll clean any old pipe work, to be fair. Oh dear. Yeah, try leaving a child's shed milk tooth in cola. Yeah, absolutely, it completely dissolves it, doesn't it? And it dissolves eggshells and stuff. You've seen the experiments, haven't you, where you put an egg in and it dissolves the eggshell and just leaves the membrane all bouncy and
very strange. You don't want that sitting next to your teeth for any length of time. No,
not at all. Not at all. So yes,
my son likes Coke, but it's the sugar-free stuff. He has the occasional fat Coke, because we have it in the house for a lovely thing called a Long Island iced tea, which is a creation my husband could whip up. It involves many, many, many alcohols. It's delicious and deadly. So one is enough. However,
why has he never made one for me? I'm going to complain. I need to put a complaint in.
Well, you haven't been here for a while.
No, but surely
lockdown and all.
Last time.
And
anyway,
I tend to be driving, but yes, when we can stay, you haven't got to drive home.
Make this woman one of them, because she's clearly not crazy enough already.
Yeah, actually, maybe not.
That's maybe why Nigel hasn't ever been one for him before. I don't see this woman's reactions.
I'm not sure he should. Yes.
Oh God. Well, on that note, oh my God, do you know it's nearly 25 past 9?
Oh, blimey. Okay,
Yeah. Sorry,
We've been
we've been keeping you up. I'm just excited that I haven't got work in the morning. Very exciting. So yes, well, on that note, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you very much for listening and joining in and doing all your bits and pieces like you normally do. And we'll see you next week.
We will.
So,
Bye.
yes, bye.